So starting with the NFC East, which is going to be have some of the best teams in football and the worst teams in football. And the gap is so wide in this division now. So I'll start from the number one spot. I got the Eagles going 13-4. And honestly, when I was going through and I was picking the games that the Eagles would lose, it was kind of hard to say that they would lose those games. Like Eagles to me still remain the best team in the NFL. They are loaded at every position. They don't have holes on their roster. It's just on occasion they're going to go against rosters that are really good and they're going to drop a couple. It's just kind of the way it goes. I don't think they're going to go undefeated, but the Eagles are the number one team in the league. I think that's just, to me, that's just, they won the Super Bowl. It's just that simple. And I think they probably have the best chance of repeating, almost the best chance out of anybody because they did lose some starters, but they've been drafting so well. They have guys that are just ready to come right in. It's insane. So, Eagles are going to be number one. They're going to go 13-4. Next in the division, I have the Washington Commanders going 11-6. And I feel like, it's only one more win than last year, right? Which may seem like, well, they got a lot better in the offseason, and they did. But, there's film on Jaden Daniels now, and the NFC is tough. And the Washington Commanders still play the Eagles twice a year. So that's always going to put a cap on how many wins you can get in any given season because they can't just cruise through their division when they've got the reigning Super Bowl champs in it. So I think the Commanders have a good chance to maybe even go to the championship again. But I think if you're a Commanders fan and you make it to the playoffs and maybe you make it to the divisional round, I would still consider that a success because this last season was kind of like a Cinderella story. And like you kind of want like, you were seconds away from getting to the Super Bowl, but the Eagles and the Lions are still there. So I would still say for a Commanders fan, if you get to the divisional round, you're still feeling good about your chances of maybe just loading up and making that Super Bowl push before Jane Daniels finishes his rookie contract, because that kid can ball. Next up, I feel kind of bad to have them this low with this many losses, but I have the Cowboys going 7-10, and that is specifically because of the Micah Parsons trade. Like literally, when I was going through my game picks of each game, originally I had the Cowboys actually beating the Packers, but now that the Packers have Micah Parsons, I had to drop that game, and I don't know, and I think I can't remember the other one, but I had to drop another game. Originally, I had the Cowboys going 9-8, and they ended up getting the last spot in the playoffs. Oh, when they played the 49ers, I had originally had the Cowboys winning. Now I had to pick the 49ers to win because, again, without Micah Parsons, it's going to be tough for the Cowboys to generate pass rush. I mean, they don't have anybody on their roster who generated at least 6 sacks last season. So Kenny Clark is, he's a good pickup, but I don't know if the Cowboys are going to end up starting to sell off assets if the losses start piling up or kind of shut down for the year. They got 2 first round picks out of the deal, so only time will tell to see how much it makes a difference. But I got the Cowboys going 7-10. To me, losing Micah Parsons could cost them at least 2 wins, and that drops you from in playoff contention to they literally went from the 7th seed down to the 14th because I think the NFC is so, I'm not going to say stacked, but like the middle class of it is so like bunched up together, and they literally went from the top of the mid teams to the bottom of the mid teams just by dropping Micah Parsons. So that's my pick for the Cowboys, 7-10. And then coming in at last in the division is the Giants at 3-14. Now, Giants fans are probably going to eviscerate me for this. I get it. I completely understand. As I make clear, I don't think the Giants are a bad team. The Giants are not a bad team by any means. They actually have a great defensive line. They got a piece in their secondary. They could probably use a couple more cornerbacks here and there, but having who the guy they just signed from the Dolphins, Javon Holland back there will definitely help. He might be able to bring them back to those Xavier McKinney days, um, as well as having Abdul Carter join that fierce defensive front. And on offense, they got a star wide receiver in Malik Neighbors. They'll probably need a number two, but Darius Slayton can still stretch the field. They got a kind of a nice backfield brewing. The offensive line still needs a lot of work, though. Still needs a lot of work on that offensive line. And then obviously quarterback, they have Russell Wilson and James Winston and Jackson Dart in the back. So I think, again, is nothing like I don't think they're necessarily a bad team. It's just they have the most horrendous schedule I've maybe ever seen. And part of that is playing the Eagles twice a year and the Commanders twice a year, right? You're in the division with the Super Bowl winners, but it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal their division. So I think like if I'm a Giants fan and you end up picking up high again next year, if you don't get a lot of wins this year, it's probably going to be frustrating. But this is the kind of year I would just let Jackson Dart sit the whole time. There's no need for him to play behind that offensive line. And then next year, you got to go like the Bears and just completely redo that offensive line. Because if you do that and you're able to fix that and just completely revamp it, you'll be strong in the trenches just like the Eagles are. And next thing you know, you'll be able to, challenge and compete maybe like the Eagles. I would even consider trading Kayvon Thibodeau to get a top flight tackle or top flight guard, something like that. Maybe a team that has some pieces that they can spare. Um, but I think for this year, right, like I said, the offensive line scares me. The Giants haven't shown enough to believe how much they can do. So I think 3-14 is accurate. Like I said, it's harsh. I get it, but it's just the class of the NFC, and the Giants' schedule is just an absolute buzzsaw. I mean, they play the Lions, the Rams, the Packers. It's ridiculous. So those are my picks for the NFC East. We got the Eagles at 13-4. We got the Commanders at 11-6. Dallas Cowboys going 7-10, and the Giants going 3-14.